Good morning, students. Students, today in this lecture we will discuss about naturalism. Naturalism. Meaning of naturalism. Naturalism means belief in nature. It advocates return to nature. According to W.E. Hawking, naturalism is a type of metaphysics which takes nature as the whole of reality. The philosophy of naturalism excludes whatever is supernatural or otherworldly. Even life is a part of the scheme of nature. This philosophy believes that everything comes from nature and returns to nature. Naturalism in education. Naturalism appeared as a revolt against formalism and stereotyped system of education. In the words of Adams, naturalism is a term loosely applied to systems of training that are not dependent on schools and books but on the manipulation of the actual life of the educand. According to the Ross, education is merely the fostering of natural development, and true education takes place when the nature, power, and inclinations of the child are allowed to develop freely with a minimum of guidance. Education must conform to the natural process of growth and mental development. Aristotle, Comte, Bacon, Thomas Hobbes, Rousseau, Comenius, Huxley, Herbert Spencer, Tagore, and T.P. Nunn are among those who thought of education along naturalistic philosophy. Principles underlying naturalistic education. First one, natural setting. The essence of naturalistic philosophy of education lies in providing natural environment to the child. It is in this setting that proper development of the child can take place. Child-centeredness. Naturalism gives a central position to the child according to the teacher should understand child psychology and guidance the educand according to his needs and attitudes. Children should be treated as children, not as miniature adults. Third point, maximum freedom to the child. Freedom is the watchword of naturalistic education. It is through freedom that the child growth takes a natural direction. Children should have a free choice of activities to gain first-hand experiences. Fourth point, happiness and healthy mood. Happiness and healthy mood go hand in hand. Happy childhood is an essential factor in healthy growth. Naturalism believes that education should generate happiness and healthy mood for the growing child. Fifth, senses the gateways of knowledge. Senses are the gateways of knowledge for effective learning. Adequate sensory experiences should be provided to the child. Sixth, instincts, the basis of education. Naturalistic education regards instincts as the basis of all education. The teacher should fully explore child's instincts and try to modify this behavior. It is through education that the child's animal behavior should be transformed into human behavior. Aims of education in naturalism. First point, self-expression. Student self-expression, not self-realization, is an important aim of naturalistic education. Second point, self-preservation. Education should have the child in self-preservation. It includes self-health along with healthy environment. Third point, fullest development. Naturalism believes that the chief aim of education is the fullest development of the child. Fourth point, survival of the individual. Naturalism believes that the fittest alone should survive education, must equip the child to struggle to exist. Economic efficiency. Naturalism believes that education should be geared to the fulfillment of economic needs of the child. Sixth point, sublimation of instincts. Education should aim at the redirection and sublimation of child's instinct. Maintenance of social and political relations, that is also important in naturalism. Naturalist educators believe through education the rate of development should increase so that child and political justice is maintained. Next is adjustment with surrounding. Education should enable an individual to live in harmony with his surroundings. This alone will ensure his health and happiness. Next is autonomous development of individuality. Education regards the autonomous development of individuality as an important goal of education. Rousseau and T.P. Nunn are the main exponents of this view. Next is enjoyment of leisure. Enjoyment of leisure. It occupies an important, leisure means free time. It occupies an important place in the scheme of education. As such, happiness of leisure should be the lasting experience. Rousseau on education. Rousseau says that education aims at the inner faculties, capacities and powers of the child. Second aim of education is not preparation for life but participation in it. Third, each stage through which a child passes has a specific aim of education. Now the three stages. First, to gain knowledge and all the wants and needs of a child are to be fulfilled. Second, to provide the child with the strength that the child lacks of the ability of being free. Third stage, to enable the child to acquire useful knowledge which would satisfy the child's want. So these are the three stages. Naturalism and the learner. Individual is to be given unrestricted freedom and only then his harmonious development will take place. The checks on the child are also to be natural. The naturalists advocate discipline by natural consequences. A danger that the child may harm himself and cause worry to the parents. Naturalism and the curriculum. First point, child-centered according to the present and future needs of the child. Second, curriculum divided under two stages. First is earlier stage in sensory training. Second, later stage. Subjects are included in the curriculum through activities and occupations like physical science, language, mathematics, manual work, trade, moral education, etc. These comes in the later stage. Methodology of teaching. First one, learning by doing and interaction with nature. This one is the first point of method of teaching teacher can use. Second point, observation, play, way, Dalton plan. Third point, heuristic, Montessori, kindergarten methods. These are also very important methods teacher can be used. Fourth point, observation of nature encouraged. Discipline and naturalism. Sporting, positive and progressive discipline. Discipline by natural consequences. Maximum freedom to the child. Naturalism and the teacher. Extreme naturalists ignore teacher because teacher will interfere with development of child. If the teacher is to be there, let him design situations which help in the inculcation of right type of habits in the children. As a director of activity, the teacher should not overdo his role or overact his role. Merits of naturalism. Clear formation of the psychological and scientific conception of education, freedom for child from tyranny and rigidity, interference and strict discipline, spontaneous self-activity of the child, no psychological methods in educations, self-expression, follow nature, auto-education, play way, self-discipline and non-interference, etc. The great strength of naturalism is its simplicity. It does not complicate the perception of extents by using abstract concepts. Demerits of naturalism. It is based on one-sided psychology, irrespective of their individual differences, capacities and temperament. Direct experiences cannot be provided all the time. Expensive and something impossible. It gives no place to the spiritual values. Some of the principles emphasized by naturalism are not possible to be practiced in the existing situations. Ross rightly opines it is in educational ideals, not in methods, that naturalism fails to satisfy. Conclusion. Thus, naturalism is naturocentric. According to this philosophy, only the material universe or nature alone is real. All things have originated from matter, and all are ultimately to be reduced to that. Matter is the stuff with which the universe has been built up. So, student, I hope you understand. Thank you. Have a good day.